Good morning. This is Dr. Michael Datcher, and today's morning chant for May 27th is coming pretty soon. But today, this is the 445 Productive Through Joy show. So, welcome and thanks for being here. If you're new to the show, we air each weekday morning, hella early at 4:45 a.m. here on YouTube's Michael Datcher channel, then 4:45 p.m. on Facebook Live. Today, we're talking about persistence. What is the connection between persistence and productivity? So, thanks for being here. So, um, if you, again, are new, allow me to say a few words about myself. This is your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher, author of the New York Times bestseller, Raising Fences, author of the acclaimed historical novel, Americus, author of the spanking brand new um, um, book of literary theory, Animating Black and Brown Liberation, a Theory of American Literatures, board president of the World Stage, great 501c3 nonprofit here in Los Angeles, off Crenshaw Boulevard. My educational background is UC Berkeley as an undergrad. My master's is from UCLA, and my PhD is in English literature from the University of California at Riverside. Listen, I'm an expert at being productive. I don't say that to brag or boast, but people are oftentimes surprised at my level of productivity given how crazy my own personal narrative is. I am the product of a young girl who was assaulted at age 16 in a terrible story, gave birth to me at age 17, then subsequently gave me up for adoption to an amazing single divorcee. Yet at the time, no biological father, no adopted father. Listen, difficult times for the young MD, yet as Cool Modi famously said, how you like me now? And if I can be this productive and be so through joy, so can many people who are watching this show. And we respect, thank you, and know that we can all rise as all boats rise together. So thanks for being here. Again, today we're talking about persistence, which we would dive into that topic in just a matter of moments. Let me encourage you once again to go to productivethroughjoy.com. We have a really fascinating narrative-based approach where we literally use narrative of the story that everyone's life is telling, has told a story, is telling a story, and eventually will tell a story. Tell a story. And so we help individuals think through that process and figure out, help them move towards the story they want their life to tell from this point on. So thanks for being here. Look for us as we look for you. I'm on the book tour for my last two books, Animating Black and Brown Liberation, and also for America. So I'll be coming to you. I'll be in Seattle at the big MLA conference. I'll be in Chicago at Northern Illinois University. I will be in Vermont at the Brattleboro Book Festival. I'll be in Kentucky at the Lexington at the Kentucky Book Festival. I'll be everywhere. So look for me on social media. Look for me in mainstream media. When you see me in your town, holla! All right, guys, let's dive in. We're talking about persistence today in productivity. So let's start. So point one is that you want to know that you can develop persistence. You know, persistence is, some people seem to have that thing more than others. At times, people think about it as willpower, which can be a good thing. But if you look at willful in the dictionary, willful at times is tied to obstinates and willful in doing things that are negative. So I don't want to use that word willful. And willpower has a somewhat associated definition. At the same time, willpower and persistence can work together, I think, when you're looking to serve and spread goodwill. But the point is that you can develop your persistence. That's the key. You can become more persistent by simply working on that that made up word, stick to itiveness. Right? You want to be able to look at failure not as failure but as temporary defeat, because that objective which you set your mind to will be achieved, which goes right into point two. Temporary defeat can be great because it allows you to change your plans. Right? You don't give up. You just alter your plans. You create a different pathway, and that's the beauty of water. So I live here in Venice. I'm around lots of water. And so when you're around lots of water, I swim in the ocean, I'm in the ocean, I touch the ocean every day. You know, water will simply go around the barrier. It doesn't just keep knocking its head against the barrier, it just goes around the barrier, you know. And when it's a large body of water, it actually covers the barrier. It circumnavigates the barrier so smoothly that only a small part, if it was a rock, for example, is visible because the water has just rushed on around it and kept it moving, right? And that's a very powerful thing. As you also know, that if you live around lots of water, you see that water, man, although water is smooth and light and seemingly passive, water can break down the hardest substance. I mean, so at the ocean, you see a lot of sand, of course. But if you look closely, you'll see that the sand is composed of tiny little particles of shells and glass. Things have been broken down by the ocean. Or you may also know that a drip of water will eventually break through a rock. I mean, water is very powerful, and it's a great way to think about it as a teacher, because water, as a part of nature, is such a great teacher. Um, at times, it's best to alter the plan by going around finding a new path to get to your objective, all right? Which goes right into point three, as you're flexible in that way. And that's why I didn't want to use the word willful. I mean, I can be willful, which, has had both good and not so good consequences. Um, I like to use the word persistence instead, because at times willful is not following what's the word I'm thinking of, following the guidance of the spirit. You want to be what I call God's will or the Spirit's will guide you. At times, being willful, trying to use willpower, trying just to muscle things through, um, it's just not the best. You want to be persistent in your reliance upon the power that is available to you, like the power of God, the power of the Spirit, the energetic power that is in the universe, because that's how you'll get things done much more effectively. Okay, so boom goes the dynamite. Thanks for being here. Again, we air each weekday morning, hella early AF here at 4:45 a.m. on this Memorial Day. Allow us to remember on Memorial Day the people who have fought for justice for us, Malcolm X and Dr. King and Sojourner Truth, Cesar Chavez, people committed to liberation of folk around the world. Frantz Fanon, a soldier who placed his life on the line for France and came back and helped to liberate people in Algeria. I mean, just you have to love people who are willing to place Che, Fidel, Castro, the way that he fought for liberation initially for the island of Cuba. Although, of course, his story is more complicated, but it does not disguise the fact that his initial work was about liberating that island from an oppressive yoke. So we want to just honor those today who were persistent in the spreading of good knowledge and love, because those things actually work. And we are claiming that today. So thanks for being here. We will see you this afternoon at 4:45 p.m. Until then, let's talk about it and be about it. Deuces.